All right, everyone. It's Ben Snyder here. First ever episode of Ben Talk Sports. Today we're joined by two members of Shikellamy, Jeremy and Chandler Bauman. Recently, they just won back-to-back District 13 titles, and this week they're going to be chasing back-to-back Section 3 titles. It's great things for Shikellamy. And again, joined by Jeremy and Chandler here. How are you guys today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Chandler, how are you?
Pretty good.
Again, for the first time, this is the first time we're doing this. So Ben Talk Sports, more of just a podcast here as we get started, and then we get into some pregame show stuff in the fall. But these two individuals, back-to-back District 13 champions. And just to start things off, whoever wants to answer first can. Just to go back to back here in District 13, what does that kind of mean for you guys together and just Shikellamy as a whole?
For me personally, it means everything. The first year I coached, we went 0-2, so we worked extremely hard to make sure that didn't happen again. Um, so to go back to back and get to do it with my son, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better.
And then Chandler, for you, just getting to do this with your dad, especially here, just back-to-back years, and of course, chasing that Section 3 title upcoming here this week.
Yeah, it's very special because this has always been a dream, and to get it done with the guy that taught me everything, it's really the best feeling ever.
And then Jeremy, I know Shikellamy Little League for quite some time. I know it was known as Shikellamy Acorn, and it's kind of developed into something greater. Do you know a lot, or can you talk about the kind of change that went on to get Shikellamy All-Star teams back to this level and this standard?
So it starts at the top, the people, the board members and everything. But, there for a little bit when we had started Little League, we had two different divisions. So, you had Sunbury baseball and Sunbury, and then we had Little League baseball. So you had kids choosing, or I should say, picking and choosing which league they wanted to play for. And, now that we have all the kids in one spot, you can see the growth in them.
And then Chandler, for you, are you into any kind of travel ball at all as well with this Little League?
Yeah, I play for Montoursville Tribe, and I also play up for a 15U prospect team. And yeah,
Have you noticed any growth or like help or addition to your game upon Little League just being in travel ball in general?
yeah, I've seen a lot of growth in my pitching and like my command on the mound, and I've also learned about a lot about the mental game.
And then, coach, just from an analytical standpoint, some stats I got together. This year in the District 13 All-Star Tournament, you outscore opponents 70 to 13. Last year it was 48 to 10. Both times you play four games, you go 4 and 0. Would you say that the offense this year has stuck out a little bit more in this tournament, or would you just say maybe the competition wasn't as great? Do you have anything on that?
Right. So I think last year's team had more power. We hit the ball more solidly. This year, we aren't striking out. We do put the ball in play. I mean, we had benefited from a lot of walks and a lot of errors, but we still haven't hit our full potential at the plate this year. So I'm excited to see what this next step brings out of these kids.
And then right now, if you were to say, I know it's hard to tell because districts contained a lot of blowouts this year, but would you say your team, based on practice and everything, is looking better offensively or defensively? If it came down to it, where do you think they could get a win?
Defensively, 100%.
And
I'm a,
then
I'm a defensive coach, so we practice defense quite a bit.
And then Chandler, when I just look at it, last year I saw that you had a lot of time spent on first base. This year you've really stepped up in the pitching role. I think in District 13 this year you pitched maybe 14 of the innings compared to your other teammates, which had 10. Where have you kind of developed yourself in that transition from that first base position to that pitcher shortstop position?
Well, last year I had a partial tear in my UCL, so really the only position I could play is first. But when I was back to 100%, I spent a lot of time on the pitcher's mound and just growing there.
And do you enjoy the pitcher spot? Would you say that's kind of a spot that you enjoy being a part of?
Yeah, it's probably my favorite position on the field.
Cool. And coach, when you look at the spacing between games. Districts, you get a lot of time to help these kids grow during practice and touch on things that maybe didn't go right in a game. But then you look at the sectionals tournament, and based on the way the bracket looks, you may get one day off depending on, how the wins and losses fall. How do you kind of keep these kids in it without getting to teach them those smaller things and clean up stuff from in games?
Yeah, that's a tough one. To play back to back to back to back, possibly. They just got to have a short memory. We have a good group of kids. They have a good head on their shoulders. Also, a good group of coaches. So it's up to them to have a short memory, win or lose.
And then when you look at the first day of practice for All Stars, what do you think the expectation kind of was from the first day of practice to what it is now? What is the standard for this Shikellamy All Star team?
Win. That's the standard. And develop. Development is a huge thing as well. But the expectation coming into this was to win the district title. A lot of the kids from the last year's 12U team made it. I think they got third place. So they were so close, and you know that was always the expectation. And the goal is to get back to where we were last year and to hopefully win a game at states.
And then Chandler, for you, after last season, obviously the first two losses in states, just over the off season through the regular season, I believe 13-1. What kind of confidence does that give you, and what would you say the expectation is for you now as you head into sectionals?
The expectation is to overall do good in sectionals. We had a really good regular season team, and our all-star team is also really good. So we just hope we can put a lot of runs on the board in sectionals too.
And then, Coach, I noticed the pitching this year in sectionals versus or districts compared to last year. I know last year you guys benefited from Aiden, from Max, and from Smucker on the mound a lot, and now it's kind of transitioned to, of course, Chandler. You look at Scholl, Danley, a lot of different guys on the mound. How did you? Was the regular season kind of playing a big role in just knowing that those were going to be the guys for you here in districts?
Yeah, those three guys were always going to be our three starters. We do have another one in Barry Karras. He's just been dealing with a little bit of arm issues lately. He did pitch in relief, I think, two or second or third game, and his arm was feeling good. So hopefully we can get him back out there. Um, but like you said, going into sectionals, that's going to be a tall task. Playing. You could eventually play 4 games in 4 days. So pitching is going to be crucial.
And then Chandler's arm has been big. Mentioned earlier, 14 innings in districts compared to just 10 of everyone else. So last year, maybe a little bit more of a mix, but now you've relied on Chandler quite a bit. And without that spacing in between games, pitch count becomes a consideration. Do you think Chandler's a guy who might go 95 in a single game, or would you try and space him out so he can get maybe some relief in different games? Or
So I've been trying to game plan the last 2 days, talking with the other coaches. We aren't 100% sure what we're going to do. I can say he's probably not going to throw 95. So anybody basically that throws over 65 is done for the tournament.
yep.
Um, so we're not 100% sure what we're going to do yet. We might try to save him for game 2 and see what happens with game 1. I know if we win, we would get East Lycoming.
hmm
If we lose, we get a day off. Um, so yeah, we're not 100% sure yet what we're gonna do, and that's
And
me
then
being honest.
Chandler, start with you for this. So Southern Taiga is going to be the opening round opponent again. I don't know how much returners they have. I know a couple of the coaches are the same from last year's team, but what does it sort of mean to you to just get another matchup with them?
Last year, we played two really close games with them,
hmm
and I feel like it'll continue this year. I feel like it'll be a really close game, but we just gotta play really good baseball to come out on top.
And then Jeremy, just in general, when you're selecting an all-star team and compiling these kids together, what do you look for just outside of the athletic ability? What is there more to it than just how good they are on the baseball field?
We want a kid that's coachable. Um, we don't want bad attitudes. So as long as you are athletic and have a great attitude, you always have a chance to make the team. Um, but coachability is probably my biggest thing.
And then Chandler, another thing I noticed for you, you really stepped up well into the leadoff position this year. Where do you think you've seen yourself grow through those 14 games in the regular season, and then of course up to now in playoff action? Where have you seen yourself grow there?
I've seen a lot, and I realized as the leadoff guy, I really need to get on base to help my team, and I really just got to be patient at the plate and wait for my pitch.
And then, do you have any opinions or thoughts on the kind of change it proposes when you're going up for the first at bat of the game and you don't get to see any hitters bat before you?
Yeah, really, it's good because I get to watch the pitcher warm up and I get my timing down. And then with me being the leadoff spot, the rest of my team can see what the pitching is like in an at bat, and it helps them out also.
And then I know a couple years ago, I was in the Section 3 tournament in juniors baseball, and it was just a matchup with Loyalsock. Last year, you guys face off with just one team. How does it sort of change the perspective having three teams in a tournament rather than two?
Yeah, three teams makes it a little more complicated. I know, last year was just us and Southern Tioga, so we knew we were only playing 3 games. So we had a game plan for each game, and luckily for us, it went that way. As in now, we have that extra team, and the unknown is what is making me lose sleep on deciding what we're going to do pitching wise. So it's a huge difference.
And then, just to fill you guys in, I'm sure you already know, but this East Lycoming team, I think they played a few games. It might have been two different teams they got to match up with, but in 3 games, only 3 runs given up. So I know that's not the team you face off against in the first round, but eventually, if stuff goes your way, obviously that's going to be the team you're going to have to face. If you, either of you, kind of considered that, what they bring to the table defensively, and how you said defense is kind of your strong point as well. So maybe what one of those games could look like in a defensive battle.
Yeah, so we are familiar with the team a little bit, not the whole team, just a few players. So a few of the kids play on his travel ball team from Montoursville. So we do know they have a pretty good pitcher, if not two of them. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to probably be a low scoring pitcher's duel. So hopefully we get there and we can play them on Wednesday, I believe it would be. But yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And then Chandler, this is a kind of a question for both you guys, but how we can start with you, Chandler. How would you contrast sort of a District 13 atmosphere compared to what it feels like in Section 3, especially knowing this year districts for you guys was kind of a run through. It may have felt easy at times, but last year you mentioned that Southern Tioga series was kind of tight. So does the District 13 versus Section 3 play make a difference, or would you say it's more or less just being a close game versus a game that's blown wide open?
Yeah, a close game is way more enjoyable in my opinion, and the Section 3 tournament is a bigger tournament in District 13, so we got to come out stronger in District 13, and we got to come out more like energetic, if you know what I mean.
Anything to add on that, Jeremy?
Uh, yeah, the close games are great for the kids. Overcome a little bit of adversity, but as a coach, I don't mind the big wins. Um, Especially with the Southern Tioga team, I don't think they have any returning players from last year that I saw on their roster from this year, but they gave us a run for our money last year. We were down both games going into the last inning, and we had to battle back and come back, and the kids did it. So I have no doubt that they'll give Southern Tioga all they can handle. And as far as the atmosphere, our districts, with holding it at home, I think that atmosphere was pretty good for us. And I know going to sectionals last year was all the way up in Athens, so we had the kids as families, but that was about it. But the atmosphere, with it being a little closer, hopefully we get fans to travel out there and support us.
And then just kind of building off what you said, do you think that getting to have a tournament at home, whether it's District 13 or it's the section tournament, you can see East Lycoming gets a bye. So outside of that, just the energy, as you're saying, do you think that kind of gives you a bonus just getting to play on a field you're used to playing on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get to play on it, you get to practice on it. Um, so yeah, I do believe it's a little bit of a benefit to the home team, but at the same time, it's a baseball field. Whoever wants some more is going to win it.
And then about ready to wrap things up here, but just to be in the state tournament last year, I know you said that the standard now is to just get better than last year. Chandler, we can start with you. Is there anything important that you kind of learned from being able to participate in a tournament where everything's on the line, a trip to regionals? So,
Yeah, the state tournament was a lot harder, and it was a big, like momentum loser that we lost the first game. But the second game we came out, we almost beat Indiana, PA. We almost beat them, but we didn't really. So this year, we just gotta go into the state championship confident. And if we go down one game, we just gotta come out the next like even more confident.
Jeremy, anything to add about just your experience at states, maybe what it meant for the kids and their development as they kind of approach this next year?
Yeah, I think, with last year, making it to states that first game, a lot of kids were nervous. We had a lot of mistakes, a lot of mistakes. And we put ourselves in a big deficit early game one. So you just can't let the moment get too big. Um, but I have full faith in these kids that we will get back there. It's just up to them to perform.
And then I guess from a point beyond baseball, Chandler, maybe for you, do you play any other sports or do you have future plans in baseball as far as the high school level, like what you're kind of looking to do?
Yeah, I play basketball, but baseball is definitely my main sport, and I plan on going past high school and maybe to even college. So I hope I can
Cool.
get that done.
And then Jeremy, for you, as far as coaching, I know this will be Chandler's last year of Little League. Do you coach anything else or are you looking to maybe when he's in the high school level?
If the opportunity would come available, I would definitely consider it. I'm gonna probably help out with Little League. I don't want to fully just because I do really love helping the kids out and teaching them what I know and watching them develop throughout the years is great. So I don't want to really just completely step away. So hopefully, something comes available at the high school level, and if not, I'll still plan on helping out with our local Little League.
All right, guys, again, that's all I have today. This is Jeremy and Chandler. This week, July 7th, they will play in the Section 3 tournament here in 2026. They've already won back-to-back District 13 championships, and the standard now is to return to the state tournament and hopefully get a win there. So, guys, thank you so much for coming on today for the first ever edition of Ben Talk Sports.
Hey, thanks for having us, Ben.
Mm-hmm. No
Go
problem.
Braves.
Yep. Go Braves. We're certainly rooting for you here as this is a District 13 thing together and we cover local sports. So rooting for the local team, no matter where we're from. It's all about getting it done here at home. So thank you guys for coming on.
Yep, thank you.